Oh, shoot, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of Going Pro, powered by Dog Pound Athletics. Me and Juan, we back with another episode. Y'all not even ready. Y'all, hey, I found out this is actually episode 15. I fucked up. The
You
last
messed it
one,
up, bro?
yeah, this is 15 now.
How'd you find out? You did the
Because
math.
then I did the math, and
You went
math was
Asian.
mathing. The
You went
math was
Asian.
mathing,
You
and I
went
went Asian.
mathing.
I went Asian mode.
You went full SAT.
Yeah, I
Bro,
actually,
I know you sucked at the SAT.
bro, it was bad, bro. Bro,
Yeah, I don't think they even do
bro.
it anymore.
Bro, some of the kids almost scored higher than me, and mine was out of freaking 2,400. Theirs is only out of 1,600.
I can't do that type of math.
It's hard, bro. It's hard.
Hey, so I got a question for you. So what do
Uh,
you think about talking shit inside of sports? And we're really seeing this dynamic. There's the sport that was just play basketball or something. Didn't really happen. But I think the main centerpiece of all this shit talking is Caitlin Clark. So
yes.
and the Paul brothers and the UFC.
I'm
So
gonna say
how much of an
UFC
effect
is a big one.
does this have on the psychology of performance of an athlete?
I think it's a big one. I think it's one that you can either have it help you in your game, or it can negatively affect your performance if you don't handle it well. So, for instance, if I shit talk and everything's going well in the fight, and the minute I get hit, and then I start getting shit talk back because I was like all uppity and rah rah rah, then like my energy just goes way down and dumping. Now I'm like negative thought. Then I'm all nervous, and then thinking about like what happens when I get knocked out, and freaking all the shit talking that I did like blows up in my face, and I get made a meme of on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it goes both ways. Some people handle it well, and some people don't.
What There's so many questions.
There's so many. Yeah,
Do people do? Does baseball talk shit?
yeah. Baseball's not a sport that actually talks too much shit,
Because
but
you're
I
too far
see it.
away from each other.
You're too far away from each other, and then usually within the game, it'll get handled. So usually, like old school baseball is like if you celebrate a home run too long or you're too outlandish, the next person up to bat will get hit by the ball. Like the pitcher will purposely hit you with the
Oh,
ball
that's a
to
different type of shit.
to show you, be like, knock that shit off, or it'll happen again. Or they'll wait for you to get back up to bat, and they'll plunk you back.
They'll
Yeah,
hit you.
yeah. Just to prove, like, hey, like, don't do that,
Settle down.
don't do
So
that. But
it's known.
now, yeah,
It's known to fucking shut up. But
yeah.
you ain't. No one's yelling from the dugout. No one's like when you're on base with someone on base.
It it's hard to tell because like the game is so far away, and like again, the dugouts are spread out, and the players are really far. When baseball started to get into the more entertainment side of the sports, right? Like basketball is very entertaining, soccer, football is very entertaining. It's very like loud and like pump your chest up, whatever. Baseball's starting to get into that, but I don't think there's too much shit talking. But there is starting to become
What about
some
during
back and forth.
press conference?
Usually not during conferences. I think if anything, if it's like between a hitter and a pitcher, there's like a big strikeout, and then the pitcher gets the hitter right to get out, and then he's yelling at the freaking guy like, "Go fucking sit down, like fucking get your ass over there, bitch!" Like, and you're like, "Hey, whoa, wow."
So it's
But
probably most common basketball, football, and fighting.
yeah, basketball's a bad one. Basketball, I mean, you're right there. I mean, the court real small, right? Out of all the playing fields that all the other
And you
sports on,
can't
right?
hit. There's nowhere
Yeah,
to hide.
no, right. I maybe it's because all those sports have in common is like they're all small arenas or rings or octagons or like small spaces where they play where you're allowed to talk shit.
Oh yeah. Because soccer you do, but it's so
Soccer, you
far
could,
apart.
you
It's
could.
so far apart that like it's really against the person that you're playing or guarding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it moves so fast, and the space is pretty big, so it's a little bit harder.
I also
Um,
feel like you might be out of breath, or my bitch ass would be out of breath. And be like, "You suck,
no,
you
bro,
pussy."
we fit. We
I
fit.
said me. I said me. If I was playing soccer.
Do you
Oh
shit
man.
talk? Kyle talk some shit.
So this is what I came to realize is I love to shit talk. I don't take shit talked back to me well. Meaning, and I have a great example, which was in the off season, like after we'll lift with the pro guys like me, Pete, Lucas, and all them, and Johnny and Drew. They'll go down to the field, and like Lucas will get us throwing in with all the boys, and Pete just like wants to go play basketball. He always has a basketball with him. So we're like shooting hoops. He's like, let's play horse. Do you know what horse is?
Shut the fuck up.
Man, I don't know. You're not a basketball
Shut
guy.
the fuck up.
Okay, so we're playing horse, and he's like, all right, like, let's go. And I whop this motherfucker. Like, I think I had one letter to his five letters, or whatever. And every time I give him a letter, I'm like, man, you sure you want to play this game with me, man? Like, you might as well like just stick to baseball,
Now,
dog.
are you
Like,
doing it because it's one of the few things you can beat him at?
yes, okay, so because Pete's a freaking god of an
That
athlete,
genetic.
I can't really beat him at much, and he knows I can beat him at lifting, so he doesn't really talk shit to me back. But like in an actual sport, like I'm like, this is my chance. Like I'm gonna assert my dominance. So I'm just giving it to him. The
Yeah, you
next
are.
5 games, pause. The next 5 games we played, he skunked me, and he is pause. He is giving it to me bad. Oh, you want to talk all that shit? Swish. Sit your little ass down here and fucking brick this shot right now. You want to talk that shit? I miss. Get a letter. Give me my fucking ball back. You want to talk shit? And he's just roasted, bro. And I could feel my emotions like, oh my God, like I panicked. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? Fuck, 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 fuck. And I realized in that moment, I don't like getting shit talked. So I shouldn't shit talk people because I know if things don't go my way, then my performance goes way down. And I think that's like something that I wanted to talk about, which I think like kids, boys, like we love to talk shit, but to know that like you have to understand what I just talked about is if you're gonna give it, you gotta be able to handle it and then handle it well and let it drive you, not drive you down. It's gotta like fuel you to go up. And I think there's maybe a handful of people that I know, and then even in the fight game and in sports that handle the shit talk well, where like it fuels them and they only get better. I feel like a lot of people like get shit talked and then like they try to go up, but like it negatively affects their performance. So I don't think people should shit talk, but I do shit talk.
You don't think people should shit talk, or it can go back. I was thinking of it a couple different ways. If you want to shit talk, you got to earn your shit talk.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
all the mastery and fucking greatness that we've been talking about, you better have that shit squared off before
yeah,
you open your mouth.
yeah. No,
And
exactly. I
then,
think a lot of times, especially with the younger athletes, like they love to like yap their mouth and like stick their chest up, like, "Well, I'm better than that kid, and that kid fucking sucks." And da 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 da. And you're like, "Man, I'm not gonna lie, like you ain't haven't done shit. That kid is like the fucking Big West, fucking da 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 da. That kid's an All American. That you think you're gonna hit off that kid, bro? Like, bro, like watch your mouth, bro. Like, be respectful. Like, you haven't proved anything yet.
okay, but yeah, what about peer to peer when it's like your team? That one's just dumb.
That
Let's
one's just
say
dumb.
even playing field. Should it be encouraged as part of the psychological warfare? And I think fighting is a good example because
Mhm. Oh,
like Conor
100%.
McGregor, it could
Oh yeah,
make the 5%
yeah.
difference to the game.
Oh yeah. It's part of the game, and that's why it happens because again, you can psychologically psych your opponent out to then make them play worse. Like what Pete did to me when he made me shoot worse, like
It
that's
worked.
part of the game, right? And I think it is a strategy to do, but again, if you can't handle it back, then in my opinion, I'd rather you not shit talk and just like stay even keeled with your emotions and just play your sport. But the people like Conor McGregor, Tank Davis, who just fought, who was just mad shit talking to his opponent, bro, like is those guys can handle the shit talk because or they can shit talk because they can handle the stuff that gets brought back to them.
What about Ryan Garcia?
First of all, that motherfucker needs to stop doing drugs. But I think Ryan is. I think he's earned a lot. I think he can shit talk, and he's one of like the best fighters in the world in boxing that he can shit talk. But I don't think at some point you're gonna meet your match. You know what I'm saying? And then like at some point it's just gonna like it could like really negatively affect your like ego and like put you in like that depressive state that we talked about in the last episode.
Yeah, I guess it does work on. It is a very useful tool,
Yeah.
but on the other side of it, when game's over, regardless, and it's been really funny now that Sarah's been watching more fights with me.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the fight, how people interact with your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Are
like,
they
because they were
like
shit talking,
respectful?
and then
Yeah.
they're very respectful after the fact.
Yeah.
Uh, that might be a good way to look at it and use psychological warfare to win,
Mm-hmm.
and then after the fact, respect
Yeah.
the chivalry and the sportsmanship component of the game. Because we're
No, for
at the
sure.
end of the day, we're playing the game. What are some other psychological games that can be useful that you use in the past?
That I use. For me at least, I didn't really shit talk when I played. I mean, I was super quiet. I just say to myself, I was like, hey, like I'm just gonna do my thing, worry about my own play, and then like that's it. But with my buddies, video games is different though. Video games, when I'm hot, I'm gonna be in your ear, and you're gonna not hear me the
Why?
entire
Okay, so
time that I'm
why
rolling.
are you a bitch and you safe behind video games and not real life?
No, like if like me and my homie are playing next to each other. So like if we're playing like NBA 2K and like he's sitting next to me and we're playing, I'm gonna like I'm using psychological warfare to make him play worse. So I'm gonna talk bad about like his play, like oh like there's another miss, and like get him to start thinking about like the negative things that he's been doing, and then be like, oh man, you suck, you can't, whatever. Like you make him feel bad about what he's doing, like, and I don't know if that helps,
Do
but
you go
that's
strategically at him or around him? Like you talking about his mama, his girlfriend,
nah.
or
I ain't talking about no. If it gets heated, maybe I'll talk about someone's phone. No, I'm kidding. No, I just go off of like gameplay and shit. I just go off of gameplay.
what are some other psychological warfare tactics that baseball teams use?
I'm trying to think if there's like a lot of there's I don't feel like there's a lot of psychological stuff that goes into baseball. At
That's
least
what I wanted
warfare.
to break down. Look, like
At least warfare.
think about the colors a team chooses, the look of the uniform. You look across and everyone's in black. You're like, damn, they look nasty. As compared to like a white jersey, they're like, that's cute, right? Or the logos as warfare. Something that we used to do in soccer is like everyone is in cadence and in sync when you're warming up, so you look sharp,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
right?
So like
The
Mike.
hoodie, the headphones, the looking
Yeah.
down, the
I think it's
oversized warm ups.
the perception of it. Like if you look clean, like uniforms, you're on sync when you're stretching. Um, when you take it's called infield alpha, so like you basically like warm up on the field in front of the other team, and like I don't know if it's I guess you call it psychological warfare, but like if you see a team out there and they're crisp during infield outfield, like when they're practicing in front of you, you're kind of sitting there, you're like, all right, they're on it. Like I'm not gonna feel doubt, but you're like, all right, like no, like that's a good team. That's a good team right there. So, but I think more of like what I wanted to talk about, not in terms of just baseball, but I think kids nowadays, they're just so unhinged. Like they just be saying some wild shit, and I'm like, hey, like you can like talk your shit, you can do whatever, but know the consequences that come with talking shit. 'Cause I think there are too many kids that I know that run their mouth a lot, and then they think they're the shit, and like they like try to boast themselves up, and then all of a sudden like they get hit in the face, and then they like don't know how to handle it.
Mm.
I think the
Oh, okay.
lesson,
I
yeah,
see what
you
you're
know what I'm
saying.
talking about.
So I think what I'm seeing with you seeing that because you're front lines of that is
Yeah,
kids nowadays, the young athletes are getting sidetracked by influential what's going on social media. So they're
mm.
copycatting that for
Copycatting.
attention. which is
Hmm.
really them focusing on the wrong things. They should be
Hmm.
focusing on their game. And where
Yeah.
I wanted to lead it next is, what are some steps, or what do you think athletes can do to tap into the aggressiveness, that competitiveness, to fine tune their mind before competing, and then after the fact, maybe add in the element of talking and trying to trigger. I mostly view it as, let me trigger you so you're heated, so you start to make mistakes. Like, if
Hmm.
anything, I don't really talk shit. I just mostly shut up. But
Hmm.
I'm by trade a defender, so I'm just gonna be nipping at you,
Yeah.
making you guess where I'm at.
Hmm.
Um, how do you tap into that killer instinct, and how do you think we can coach people to tap into that killer instinct?
I mean, the way I do it is I always feel like I have to prove myself. Like say I'm lifting, like at least for me, like I don't play sports anymore. So like back in the day, like when I was powerlifting and the kids would like start talking shit, you're like, man, like that's all you got. Like I would start to in my mind be like, I'm gonna fucking show you right now that like I'm fucking way better than you. And like I'm gonna fucking prove to you right fucking now and shut your fucking mouth or whatever. Um I think that's just how I was brought up, which is like me as a smaller athlete in baseball, people that are 5'5", bro, like there's like 1 5'5" during the MLB. And there's like maybe one or two. There's probably one token 5'5" kid on a college team, and then
You or him?
and I was him. So like you're always like I was always like getting looked down upon. So I always had to carry like this chip on my shoulder. Like I'll show you right now. Like I don't look at me like I'm little. Look at me like I'm a fucking man. I'm gonna prove to you right fucking now that I'm gonna fucking outwork your ass, fucking out hit you, outrun you. I don't give a fuck. I will do whatever it fucking takes to prove to you that I'm fucking better than you. So maybe it's just like the way that I got brought up, and I think
Okay,
a
but how do you get
strategy.
into that zone?
I just get mad. I just think about all the times that all like the negative shit that like people said to me in the past. Oh, he's too small. He's too little. He'll never make
Quickly,
it.
not
He'll,
plenty.
like all the bad
That
shit. Like I'll let it eat at me, and then I'll like flip it and be like, and then like it'll like fuel my energy to get going. But I think a strategy could be, I think as strength coaches in our field is like to always try to challenge the kids with shit talk. Like okay, this is gonna be funny, but like I always like at least at the gym, like I'm known as like me just peppering kids, like just peppering. Come on, little guy, what you got? You're not gonna lift that shit. Hey, like,
Oh,
little
yeah.
boy ain't gonna lift that shit. Watch, go ahead and fail that rep. And then like I'm trying to like build that like fire in them, but like motherfucker, and then they'll look at me and be like, watch, and you're like, go ahead, I'm fucking waiting, motherfucker. And then like just I think like that's how I employ my strategy of like how they can handle shit talking, and then help them build that fire within them to be like, you want to see something? Like I'll show you right now.
Mm.
So
Yeah, but
that's how I
as
do it.
an asterisk and a double tap on that, just to cover your ass, is because you already have skin in the game, respect, time spent with them.
Yeah.
So it's not just only negatively charged. It's
Mm.
you now understanding that you have a relationship with them, and then you can plug in an artificial environment
Yeah.
to start conditioning and programming that part. I think also what is very helpful. I guess I still do this whenever my last competing was powerlifting, but um, creating spaces or energy systems to put you in that state. So music does
Cool.
that, lighting does
Mm.
that.
Hmm.
Like even being in, you see me do in shades a lot or a hoodie, and you just start to zone in. And that zoning in really is you're cutting off peripherals, so you're literally tunnel vision,
Mm.
and then you're just tapped into your inner self, inner self, inner self, and start to visualize or capture that heated emotions, because that's what's going to give you energy, or the fuel, so that you can
Mm.
perform. And it's a very careful bridge, because if you spill over, you start messing up. But I
Mm.
think it's helpful, and this is where we see all the what's it called, the little triggers that people do to try to put themselves in the right state in order to tap into
Mm.
their greater self, and so they
Yeah.
can perform and be in that little flow mental state. But the strategy on the shit talking is difficult. Like you see, I've seen failures of it, of the coach leading with
Hmm.
that, and a
Hmm.
lot of times I see it as a way to deflect
Hmm.
underdevelopment instead of focusing on development. So like if you have development and you nice and you add that, that's a deadly team. That's a deadly
Hmm.
combo. You
Yeah, yeah.
know. So on the other flip side of that, how do we deal with you not taking it well? If someone's not taking it well, how would we come back and bounce back from that?
I think it's a conversation that we have to have with our athletes when you do see them or when you see that shit talking negatively affect them. So again, like what you would want them to fuel their lift or their workout or their performance, but when it negatively affects you, that's when I feel like you have to sit down with them and get them to understand the psychological part of what's going on in their mind and why did it affect them so deeply inside that they tried too hard. Like you said, like it's a it's a balance of you're gonna try really hard, but you don't want to go too far over the edge where you start making mistakes, right? And I think trying to help the kids understand what they said or what was said that triggered them, and then how do we get them to understand or like deal with that trigger again, and then also helping them understand who they are and how like dude the shit talking are they're just words, if that makes sense. Like I think it's more of like an emotional side that the kids need to understand of why things bother them so much, because in this day and age, right, it's all likes and views and worship on Instagram and TikTok or
I
whatever,
just feel
and the hype train, and everyone wants to be on the hype train, but at the end of the day, like they live and die by that. They believe themselves as they're either so good that people like they how am I trying to say this? They like feed for that feedback from other people, that external feedback from people. And it's
yeah.
like trying to get them to understand that like at the end of the day, like these motherfuckers like don't really care about you, but it's the people inside your circle that you should listen to and not everyone else.
And I think if there's an important part that you said that you know about yourself, of it's not for every personality.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
might learn
again,
that I do not like that.
yeah, and trying to figure out for themselves as an individual, be like, yo, like this might not be for you. Like your best way to
Shut
find
up
your
and do
flow
your job.
state is just be quiet. You don't need to show that you're fucking great. Just prove that you're great with the work that you put in.
Yeah.
Because I
There's
don't I
also
don't
another element of
yeah.
like, can you use different elements of shit talk? Like I'm just deadly as quiet.
Mhm.
Like
And that's a
when I'm in
scary
the
thing.
zone and you're like,
Yeah.
bro, fuck that. I'd rather you have it talking.
Yes.
If you zone in and
Bro,
one is quiet, you're in danger.
when you're lifting in the morning and there are some days where you're real locked in, and I'm like, I'm just like not gonna talk to him today, and not because I don't want to talk to you, but like you're locked in. I know that feeling, right? Like when you're locked in, like don't fucking talk to me. Like I'm fucking in the zone. Like don't fuck up my
You
shit
will
right
get
now.
killed.
Yeah, and you're like yo, like, and I respect that for sure. But like you said, like being able to be in that zone and know like yo, like sometimes it's not for you. Sometimes it's not for you because you know if people continue to keep doing that and then they continue to keep having those ups and downs, that's what your performance is going to be like. If your emotions are always on this fucking big ass roller coaster, your performance probably isn't going to do all that well. So I think it's our job as mentors and strength coaches to help our athletes understand the emotional side to it of what can get them to that flow state, that locked in moment for them and keep them there instead of having them be all over with crazy emotions.
Yeah. The nasty athlete first focuses on their own development,
Hmm.
make sure that's all locked in. And then I think the second one is figuring out what your psychological warfare component is.
Yeah,
And that might
and
that's the
mhm,
fire, that's the combo right there.
yeah, because again, your psychological warfare is you being silent. Like when I know you're silent, you're like, go talk to Juan. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk to one. But
Or the
some, but
opposite too. Find out your opponent's
mhm,
style, and then
yeah.
if they do not like to shit talk, just go at them.
Then you go
Yes.
because they're so mentally weak. You're gonna break them before they break you,
Mm-hmm. That's a
right?
good one. Yeah. Like if you
And
want to
you
go next level, you got to go beyond you and
yeah
find your opponent's weakness and then press on it,
yeah
pressure it, or just wait to like maybe also have to do the nuance of like, are you doing well? And then at that point is when you can press full throttle to get to the finish, like to get through the game, to get through the series.
yeah to win the game, to win the at bat, whatever it is. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think I like what you said is the first part of this is developing you as your own man, your own self, or woman, whatever, right? Because if you don't do that yourself, then
you got no grounds to stand on.
you have no ground to stand on.
And if it comes crashing, it comes crashing down harder
Hard, real hard,
because you
because it affects you
internally you know
way
you don't got it
deeper.
like that.
Yeah, like I always love now that like because I didn't grow. I'm not bigger. Like I'm still the same size, and kids will continue to keep shit talking me about my bullshit. Oh, you small. Oh, like you're not big. Whatever. And you're like, and I can now sit here and be like, okay, that all you got? Is that was
Well,
that the
it's
best one
worse
you got?
because you're smaller and then still stronger.
No, yeah. And
So
then
it doesn't.
depending on my mood, I'll be like, I'm gonna let it go. Haha, funny. That's get a better joke, idiot. Or be like, you want to see something cool? Let's go right now. I'll show you. I'll show you. And I haven't got to that. I haven't done that in a really long time.
It's
But
because you're getting old. You know what
I'm
happens when
getting
you get
old,
old? You don't even
bro.
entertain this shit.
No, yeah, because I
You're
think it's
like,
just
nah,
stupid now.
I already got it like that.
Yeah, and I think again the kids just need to mature a little more. Again, be comfortable in their own skin. Because if they're not comfortable in your own skin, like words will continue to affect you. But when you're comfortable in your own skin, shit, words don't mean shit. I don't give a fuck. I know who I am. You, there's nothing you can tell me to be like that's gonna affect me and be like, man, like what that kid said to me like really hit me really deep. Like maybe that's actually true. It's not true.
No, you
Am I
gotta hit him
short?
with, I know you are, but what am I?
Yo, such a dad joke, bro. That is 100% a dad joke. But
I'm
I don't
daddy,
know what
dude.
you are, but
Happy
what am
Father's Day to
I?
me.
Yo, bro, goddamn. That's well, dude. Father's Day was like, oh, that it was, dude.
It was
Happy
on
belated
Sunday,
Father's Day.
bro.
Happy belated Father's Day.
There we
I
go.
forgot to text you. Oh,
It's,
I'm saying it to you right now, dude.
I'm in your hearts. Gang. All right, take
All
that
right.
fire. Take that heat. Talk some shit.
Talk to y'all later. Peace.